any one slate of games can change our entire view of who's good and who's not good, Chris. And we're going to focus over the next few minutes on the top teams in the NFC, because the sense had been it's the Patriots and then a bunch of NFC teams and then whoever is the second best team in the AFC.
Sure.
Whether it's the Texans, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, who knows? But there's that cluster of NFC teams that feels like collectively the best group of teams in the NFL.
Yes.
And they had some wins, they had some losses yesterday. And let's start with the team that we had at the top, the undefeated 49ers, the only undefeated team in the NFC. They went to Washington.
Yep.
And it was a sloppy, nasty, ugly game on that horrible field, and the water wasn't draining, and it was kind of fun to watch some of the highlights. The game itself wasn't that much fun. The slide, oh my gosh. But the 49ers didn't wobble. They didn't play down to the level of the opponent. It was 9-0, but it felt like it was a blowout. We both had 49ers as best bets to cover. They missed it by a half point.
Yeah.
It should have been a lot worse than it was, but they got it done.
Yeah.
And Kyle Shanahan gave the game ball to his dad, Mike, afterward, even though Mike has no connection to the 49ers organization. This was all a stick it to Washington. But the 49ers have been periodically and systematically sticking it to everyone they faced this year. They're now 6-0.
Yeah, well, they're phenomenal. And, to just go off of what you said to start here, New England, okay, they're the number one team in football. It's not by a lot. I can sit here and then the Saints, the 49ers, the Packers, they'd give New England all a run for their money right now, for sure. But this San Francisco team, it's just special because their defense and the elements yesterday really hurt them. They're the team that's one of the fastest teams in football, one of the most physical. To play and slop like that was a great advantage for the Washington Redskins, but nonetheless, it did not matter. Yeah, their defense came up big, and really the two big moments they needed to. I think we showed those highlights. It was a 4th-and-1 stop while the Redskins were on in like fringe field goal range. Then there was another 4th-and-1 stop or maybe it was 3rd-and-1 where Adrian Peterson fumbles in a short yardage situation. Those were big moments by that front seven. They can dominate. And then, they just played clean on the front side. Jimmy Garoppolo he took care of the ball and didn't make that stupid mistake sometimes you see in a rainy, sloppy game.
Yeah, Garoppolo 12 for 21, 151 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 pick. But it was just one of those days where you can't expect normal performance.
No.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
What from the Patriots tonight, other than a loss to the Jets, what would it take for you to put the 49ers above the Patriots and put them up to the top team in the NFL?
Ooh, okay. Well, that's a good one. I think they've shown no crack in the armor as far as the defense goes. So, if there was something like that, and then, the Patriots offense, I think we can all agree, has not been anything special lately. Whether it was, the game against the Giants where they struggled early on. There's been a few moments this year where we've looked at it and gone, New England, the final score looks good, but they haven't clicked on all cylinders as far as run game, pass game. The Redskins game before that, it's 33-7, but that game was in the balance in late into the second quarter, even early third quarter where the Patriots were sluggish there. So I guess if I saw one of those where I saw the defense maybe get torched to a degree for the first time this year, and saw another one of those the Patriots offense, it took them a long time to get going, and it was the fourth quarter before they finally put some drives away, that I'd go, the 49ers might be better.
First 3 games of the year, the 49ers gave up 17 points, 17 points,
right,
and 20 points, right, to the Bucs, the Bengals, and the Steelers, respectively. Since the bye week, 3 games, 10 total points allowed.
Yes.
3 to the Browns, 7 to the Rams, 0 to Washington.
There it is. Robert Saleh, he needs to be, he's going to probably be in the coordinators, soon to be a head coach conversation.
They don't hire defensive coordinators anymore. Tony Dungy always points that out.
Well, it is. It's a little ridiculous. It is. And Saleh and the unit he has, the San Francisco defense, and we've said it a lot over the last few weeks, the front four is as good as anybody in football, if not the best. And it's not only just the front four. They have great depth and and talent behind it. When you talk about team speed on defense, usually it starts the conversation with your linebackers. Are they fast? If you have fast linebackers, teams usually view you as a fast defense. Well, Quan Alexander, the kid they got, Fred Warner from BYU, who they drafted a few years ago, they're extremely fast. They got good secondary play. And then when you can run the ball and design play action passes the way Kyle Shanahan can, that's a great formula. It's really a lot of the ways New England plays. There's a lot of similarities there. It's not exactly the same style on defense, but offensively it's run first, play action passes, some cute screens and things like that, and then just the normal offense within that. But the 49ers are here to stay, and they're going to be in this first-round bye conversation all year, so get used to it.
The Saints are going to be in that conversation as well. They play the 49ers later this year, old NFC West rivals. The Saints went to Chicago and did something that I did not think they would be able to do. First of all, I didn't think they would win. Second of all, I didn't think they would manhandle the Bears. The Bears had 2 weeks to get ready. They had to be salty after losing to the Raiders in London. They had that 97-yard drive, 13 plays. They gave up in the fourth quarter to lose the game. The Saints, it's kind of that feeling they're maybe better than – or the record's better than they are. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. They know who we mean. But the Saints just stuck it to them.
Yes.
And 36-25 does not tell the story. The Saints blew them out. They suffocated the Chicago offense. And the Saints offense continues to click without Drew Brees, who wants to come back and play this weekend. They have a bye after that. I think if I'm Sean Payton, I say, hey, Drew, let's go ahead and give it a few more weeks.
Yep.
We don't need to rush this at this point because we're able to win without you.
Right. Yes, don't rush it. It makes no sense. They're going to beat the Cardinals, so they don't need you. Let it get an extra 2 weeks of healthy, and so you can be back hitting on all cylinders and make a real Super Bowl run, because this is a Super Bowl team. And, I mean, you're right, Mike. I mean, it's the defense. It's the toughness of Sean Payton. This play right here, the great creativity, give it to the fullback. He runs the option pitch, to our man Taysom Hill. Here's Taysom Hill in motion, going to throw a screen to him like we see the Patriots throw to like Julian Edelman all the time, blocking in front, touchdown. But it all goes back to the coach of the year right now at this point, which is Sean Payton probably. I mean, it's either him or Kyle Shanahan.
Or Frank Reich.
Right. It's going to be one of those three. But Sean Payton, his toughness is what shows up on a weekly basis. This is a guy that did work for John Gruden, who's tough, who did work, he worked for Bill Parcells, who's really tough. And that shows when you watch Saints football. They beat the crap out of you on defense, and then on offense, they beat the crap out of you again with their run game and everything they do there. And their defense was amazing yesterday, totally shut down the Bears. The Bears offense stinks. The Bears defense is still good. People are going to look at it and go, man, the Bears defense let up 36 points. Well, when you got to be out back on the field every fourth play because your offense can't do anything, I don't care if you're the 85 Bears. The dam is going to break eventually, and that's what happened yesterday. And you're right. It was 36-10. That game wasn't nearly as close as the final score makes it look.
We have a tweet from April 25 of 2017 that picked up some extra renewed life yesterday. I saw it popping up in my mentions. Deshaun Watson with a quote from his pre-draft media rounds. He said, pick Mitch Trubisky ahead of me and live with the consequences.
Well, yep, they're living with the consequences in Chicago. And unfortunately, it's not Mitchell Trubisky's fault that Ryan Pace and the Bears chose him over Watson and Mahomes, okay? But he's just going to have to hear that, certainly. And Trubisky's not good. I was a defender of Trubisky last year. And honestly, he's worse this year than he was last year. It's going in the wrong direction. But at the same time, I'm not going to just sit here and just blame Mitchell Trubisky. What is the offense of the Bears? I mean, what is it? It just looks like, I like that play. Let's call it. Oh, that's a cool one. Let me call it. At some point, there has to be rhyme and reason to why you call plays and tying together personnel sets and all of those things. The Bears offense has no identity. They can't run the ball. They can't pass protect. Their pass schemes are average. And then it falls on the defense to basically keep everybody under 14 points. And that's just not realistic in the NFL this day.
We talked earlier in the show about what the Packers did against a Raiders team that seemed like they were primed to come in and pull off the upset and put everyone on notice that they were a force to be reckoned with in the AFC West.
Right.
The Packers managed to win because of a career day from Aaron Rodgers, and it's hard to envision saying career day for him when he's had such a great career.
Right.
But it really was a career day for Aaron Rodgers with the 5 touchdown passes, a touchdown run, a perfect passer rating, the first perfect passer rating for the Packers since Bart Starr was 8 for 9 for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns in 1960. So the Packers look, think about hey, there's only going to be 2 byes in the NFC.
Yeah.
You got the 49ers, you got the Saints, you got the Packers. One of those teams has got to play wild card weekend while the other 2 rest up, and who knows who it's going to be.
And who knows who it's going to be is right. I mean, the NFC is insane right now. It's insane. I mean, your damn Minnesota Vikings are the 6th seed right now, and they're 5-2. And I'd go, they'd be the 2nd best team in the AFC if they were playing. I mean, that's what the way it is. You're going to have teams that legitimately could win the Super Bowl, not make the playoffs in the NFC right now. That's how deep it is. And yeah, the fight for that first round bye is going to be real. It's going to be a great advantage, especially this year in the NFC playoffs, because that wild card game could be, like you're saying, it could be Saints-Seahawks where they kill each other in an epic battle, and then you're worn out to play the divisional or the championship game after that because you played such a physical game 7 days before. Those issues are certainly going to arise in the NFC, and I think it's more of a premium than ever before to get that first round bye.
And, I need to track these numbers as we get closer to the playoffs. It used to be more of a crapshoot for the teams that had the byes to hold, serve, and win.
Yes.
For a while, the 1 seed was like a 50-50 proposition. They've figured out how to win that game, take full advantage of the week off, and be ready for that team that comes in. But you're right, those byes mean a lot. And a lot of great teams in the NFC. The only team among the great ones in the NFC that lost yesterday, the Seahawks. And that's kind of the stunner to have the Ravens come in, who felt a little fraudulent at 4-2 because they've won some games against some bad teams. And they lost to the Browns at home. And what are the Browns right now?
And got dominated, really.
But for Lamar Jackson to go toe-to-toe with Russell Wilson, to pick up his 4th double-triple, and for the story on that, check out PFT. Michael David Smith has invented the double-triple stat, which is an awesome stat. Lamar Jackson has 4 games already in his career. He's tied for 2nd all-time, the number of games with 100 yards or more in multiple statistical categories, any category whatsoever. Even return yards. There's been one guy with 8, that's Michael Vick, and there's 4 or 5 guys tied with 4, and Vick is there a season and a half into his career with 4 games where he's had 100 yards or more passing, 100 yards or more rushing. And for a guy who hates to run the football, he's pretty damn good at it.
Oh, it's the quickest feet in football. I mean, as far as making cuts and changing direction.
He's Louisville Lamar Jackson.
He is
I remember seeing him play in college thinking, if that guy can play like that at the NFL, holy crap.
Holy crap.
Moving in that direction.
Yes, it's holy crap time because it's here, and it is. It's in that direction. And, that was and to further off of that, the Ravens they made a big move this week. We didn't give them a lot of credit. They get Marcus Peters, who gets the pick 6. That was really one of the changing moment of the game. The Seahawks were kind of controlling the game. You felt like, this feels like the Seahawks are going to win, and, it might not be pretty, but it was 10-6. They were driving. They were in fringe field goal range, and Russell Wilson did something that you just never really see Russell Wilson do. Nobody opened downfield. He threw it real late into the right flat. Marcus Peters has phenomenal hands. He picks it off. Gone, touchdown, and really the Ravens kind of controlled the game from that point on.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.